right, we're going live. How are you? We're coming back to you from the floor here at AAHOA 2018 to the Gaylord National, Washington, D.C. And I'm excited to be here because we have some more AAHOA members who are going to share their story with us here on No Vacancy with Glenn Housen, sponsored by Red Roof and AAHOA. So we have Mantu, Patel, and Mayur. What's your last name, Mayur? Chedda. Awesome. From Infinity Hotel Group is Mayur. And what's the name of your company? Mantu's Innovative
Hospitality Management.
All right. So sorry for reading it off the badges. Usually I'm a little bit better than that. But, it's a long day. I'm kind of getting tired here. So thank you guys for both joining me here on the show today. So how long have you been an AAHOA member, Mantu?
Since I was probably 13 years old. I remember when the Ramas came to eat at our house back when it was a much smaller organization.
Right. So that must have been a very impactful moment in your life.
It was, yeah. I got yelled at for not serving food fast enough at our house, and learned a lot of life lessons.
Well, I guess I just learned that Indian and Jewish culture is pretty much the same because I've gotten the same kind of flack from people as well. Mayur, how did you come to know the AAHOA organization?
Through the parents and their involvement in the industry, and I became a member probably in 2000 when
Excellent.
I first graduated college and jumped into the family business.
Excellent. So you guys are both. Your parents both came to the United States, or yeah?
Yeah.
You were both born here in the United States.
I was born in Canada.
You were born in Canada. I should have said North America. Shame on me.
Close enough.
Yeah. Well, don't say that to the poor Canadians who are already having a problem thinking that we don't think about them, and that's probably because we don't think about them. Nothing personal. So I'm curious as to Mantu, how has being part of AAHOA helped your business? And I'd love to hear what you have to say after that, Mayur, as well.
Well, originally it was fair franchising,
Right.
and giving Asian American hoteliers an opportunity to break into this business. But after that, I think it's a great networking opportunity of meeting others, like-minded business associates, and then the educational sessions that they bring, I think, helps all of us get to the next level.
Excellent. Mayur, how about yourself?
I agree with Mantu. I mean, franchising, understanding what your options available when you're getting into the industry, whether you're purchasing your first property or growing your portfolio. And beyond that, and adding on to what Mantu said, I think now the advocacy piece really helps a lot with the dynamic world that we live in with changing laws and regulations and how that impacts us and our industry, and someone to actually sit down and be able to explain it to us and tell us this is good for our industry,
Right.
This is not good, and being able to go out and advocate in the right direction.
I love that. Mantu, it's interesting how you brought up how it started off as the fair franchising, and now it's morphed more to Mayur's point of being advocates for not just the Asian American community, but all hoteliers, and in some way, even a larger way, all of small businesses around the country. How has the change of the organization affected the way you think of it? Is it moving in the right direction? Is it something that you think is the right thing for them to do?
So I think one of the things that the recent leadership has done a highly effective job at is really pushing the organization to be more politically involved and making sure that our voice is heard in Congress. I believe that in the travel and tourism industry, there was a large gap in the hotel industry being represented, and I would say we were underrepresented. If you look back to every recession that we've had since Reagan, our travel and tourism counterparts have had a handout.
Right.
And what we wanted in the lodging industry was not a handout, but a bailout.
Right.
And the bailout came to folks who had voices in Congress because they understood the pain. Meanwhile, we do things like an SBA loan that cost our country no money and help grow great jobs in the United States. And unfortunately, I think from the past, we've learned that if we're not involved, someone else will get those dollars, someone else will be there. And I think now in the future, we're much more in line in being there in the halls of Congress and making sure that our voices are heard, our issues are addressed, and that moving forward, that we will own our own destiny as it relates to small business in this country.
Right. I think that's really a terrific point, Mantu. And Mayur, I'd like you to add a little bit of perspective to that because it's such a fundamental shift for the organization to have taken. I think it's been done very successfully and seamlessly, might I add. Are you finding yourself more politically involved because of the change of direction with the AAHOA organization?
Absolutely. I don't think I would have envisioned back in 2000 that I would have been with a group of fellow hoteliers walking the halls of Congress and advocating for my business or my industry. The SBA is certainly a point that they've been, heavy on. The like-kind exchange is another financial aspect. And then, if we look at the other side with the ADA and the drive-by lawsuits, they've been big advocates and educating those folks in Congress on, the negative effects or the potential pitfalls in the regulations.
Let me educate the listeners and viewers right now on what you mean by that. There's a situation out there when it comes to the ADA laws that you could take a look at Google Earth, and if you don't see a pool lift, for example, in it, then you could file a lawsuit. You've never walked in the hotel before, you've never needed that particular service before, yet you could still be exposed to lawsuits. So that's kind of what you're referring to.
Absolutely
yes?
correct.
Yeah. So by getting out there and meeting with congressmen and congresswomen, both of you? Do either of you feel like you're actually personally helping to affect change that betters your businesses and the AAHOA community at large?
Sure. So I wouldn't just say it's our businesses. I would say it's an education for the congressmen,
Yes.
the congressional aides, the senators and their aides on how small business owners operate. And through that education process, I think one of the things that you'll see is that their eyes open, where they may have one particular stance on an issue because all they've heard from is the opposite side. And when they hear from a small business owner's perspective, I really think it's more of an education for them. And 9 times out of 10, they agree with our perspective, with our opinions on matters that we bring to Congress.
What do you think about that 10th time, Mayur? Yeah, I mean, come on, we got to get them. We got to get them 10 for 10, right?
Well, they listen, and I certainly believe that they are enlightened and they have a different perspective when we do walk out of the room.
Do you feel like you're able to create real relationships with some of these elected officials?
Absolutely, and the proof is in the pudding when they do call you back and staffers follow up and said, I'm following up on the meeting, this was discussed, and this is what we're thinking. What are your thoughts and feedback on that?
Right, that's awesome. Mantu, what about you? You feel that you're really starting to break through and like some of these Congress folks know who you are in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. So Congressman Fitzpatrick, our local congressman, we have a relationship with him. He's
And you're where?
out of just north of Philadelphia,
Okay, cool.
Pennsylvania. We do have a relationship with the congressman, and we've been vocal about issues that plague our industry, and he has 9 times out of 10
Yep, right.
supported our industry and our cause.
I find it that when you actually connect with the congressional representatives of your districts, they really do understand at some point fundamentally that you're a small business and you are very vibrant to the health and happiness of the community of which they represent. But if you don't do that, then I don't think they realize the impact that your businesses as hotel owners are really making to your neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, just to follow that up, the majority of legislative aides that we speak to are quite young, and their knowledge of the lodging industry may be when they stayed at a hotel, but it's not from a small business owner's acumen, small business owner's perspective in regards to issues.
Right.
And so our ability to teach them our business, I think, really helps them better understand, again, not just hotels, but small business owners in general.
Right, makes sense. Mayur, do you want to add to that?
I agree with what Mantu said. I mean, it's that education process and being able for them to digest what we've explained to them. I know one time we went on the Hill and we had talked about the taxing of Airbnb versus hotels and how that all plays into the rate and the factor of what a guest is actually paying us and who's responsible for paying sales tax, even though that may not be a federal issue, but they could help us direct us back to the right state channels to even make that voice be heard.
Right. Have either of you had any representatives, either local, state, or national officials, come by and tour your hotels, for example?
So we've been with the congressman when they have toured our fellow AAHOA members'
Yes,
hotels.
fair enough.
They didn't physically come
Yeah, that's
into
cool.
mine, but we gave them a tour at one of the Hampton Inns that recently.
Yeah, I think that achieves the same goal. The
Absolutely.
whole idea is to see how these businesses work, see all of the employees that are there, and how you're helping be an economic driver for the community in which you're in.
Sure.
Right? So, tax reform, big deal for a lot of people. Is it going to be affecting the way that you folks run your businesses? And if so, how?
So I'm not sure yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Mayur is much more tax focused than I believe I
yeah.
am. But I'm not sure. We did a back of the envelope type of calculation, and I think we net out either plus or minus a handful. I think it's just the way you do the calculation
Right.
is a little different. But I'm not sure we're going to have more money to give to our employees or more money for investor return. I'm just not sure.
That's disappointing and discouraging because it was sold as an economic engine in that sort of sense.
I'm not sure it's going to be an economic engine. Let's just see what happens
Right.
throughout the course of this year. I also haven't seen the detailed IRS notes that usually come after a tax code change. And with anything IRS related, the devil is in the details.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So, what's your perspective?
I
Mayur?
agree 100% with what Mantu said.
Yeah.
You know, on the surface, things may look better on one side and not so good on the other side. You know, we live in Jersey, and we lost there's a limit now on property tax deductions for the residences, and we live
Yep.
in a highly taxed, residentially taxed state. So, you know, is that really going to benefit and trickle down to me as an owner investor being able to have more money to put out on the street or more money
Right.
to give back to the employees?
Right. Well, I feel your pain. I'm a New York guy, so I've got the same exact situation in my personal life. I don't need the devil in those details. I already know that it's going to be more stressful on my bottom line. But, you know, back to the hotel business. What's your future going to be like? You guys think the AAHOA community is going to help you be more successful over time in building each of your respective businesses?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that AAHOA does is ensure that this business will be a lasting business for us and not just one generation, but hopefully able to transfer what we've done, the success of our parents, going on to our generation, hopefully future generations to come. And I think that legacy concept is something that AAHOA strives for, and I'm proud of the organization
Beautiful.
for that.
I love it. And what about you, Mayur?
I agree, and I think that, you know, AAHOA will continue to play a more and more important role because the industry is changing at lightning speed, you know, with e-commerce, online reservations, online travel sites. You know, will the franchising model still be needed? How will it be required? How franchises will play a role as we go forward? How financing, you know, changes. I think, you know, the cost of goods are increasing and there's a disparity between how our industry is valued at this point. I think AAHOA will be a driving force in helping valuations come back to a more fruitful measure that can help us grow our businesses and
Excellent.
trade our businesses.
Any advice for you know, those new members out there and future members that might be interested in joining?
Network.
Just network.
Don't be afraid to talk to fellow AAHOA members. I think if you're a member of AAHOA, you have a chance of being highly successful. If you're not, it's a very small investment that can go a long, long way.
Excellent. I think that's a great words to end off on. But Mayur, you can still have a chance to top it.
Network and stay active.
Yep. Stay active.
Be involved.
That's a good lesson for life in general. Be be active, get out there, network, engage in conversations, and people are going to want to help you. That's the great thing that I love about the AAHOA community is you ask, and people are just so willing to give you back. This is the biggest pay it forward organization I think I've ever been a part of. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was great, and thank you guys for listening. And we'll be back with more great coverage from here at AAHOA 2018's National Conference at Gaylord National. Coming right back.